Overdrive teamed up with the auto filter is an unstoppable combination. It gives me further options to drive and modulate my sound source. In this session, I've started by creating 2 tracks, one with a dry sound source, which is a drone, and the other with an overdrive and an auto filter. The drone I'm using is quite cool, but over time it gets a bit static. So once again, I just want to show you how we can delicately place distortion on top of it to add some interesting texture. If used sparsely, it'll add a nice sheen over the top, making it less flat and more multidimensional. Let me demonstrate. I'll start by playing back the drone itself, and then slowly add in varying amounts of distortion and auto filter. Since the distortion has been placed on a separate channel, I can use the volume control of that channel to add or subtract the amount that I desire. I'll add in one of my favorite secret weapons for adding movement. The LFO on the auto filter set to sample and hold. This control generates random positive and negative modulation values. By turning beat quantize on, the filter's frequency modulation is updated rhythmically. It adds additional movement synced to the tempo. Since our effects are being run serially, it means that the inputs and outputs feed into one another. By changing the placement of the effects, you can alter the sound dramatically. In this example, I'm using the PDR filter type. It's a ladder filter, and you can hear it start to self-resonate. For demonstration purposes, I'm using it a little less sparingly than I might do otherwise. It comes down to how dramatic or subtle I need to be for the occasion. This technique can be applied to basses and synths as well. We can add sheen and shine to the top end, making it more like the 4th dimension. Take this fairly straightforward dub wobble bass, for example. It's worth mentioning that there's a separate drive parameter on the filter itself. Essentially, it applies additional input gain to the signal before it enters the filter. Further adjust the auto filter to dial in where exactly you want the distortion to occur. Use the track volume to add or subtract the amount of distortion you'd like to include, but most importantly, have fun exploring how you can use this in new and interesting ways.